Good evening, everybody. This is Lucifer Apollo again. I believe today we're going to conclude the book. I will continue reading from what I finished last time. Wars, interplanetary invasions, destruction and pain were all too common. Many of the things which are written about by science fiction writers are actually fragments of clouded recall, things which have actually occurred. But most of the readers and authors alike prefer to believe it's just imaginary. History repeats itself continually. Planets and civilizations were destroyed by wars. Eons later, languages and technologies will be reconstructed. Televisions, radios, architecture, machines, etc., continue to be reinvented. Most of the inventions on Earth today are not inventions at all. They are rediscoveries. Inventors get big flashes from the past and they call them ideas. You hear the expression, one idea leads to another. Well, truthfully, that should read one memory triggers another. This is why Earth has undergone such rapid technical advances in machinery, aircraft, and electronics. It has all happened before. Well, so much for the history lesson. Let's head on back. Patron said, "Come on, boy, time to go home." Returning from the picnic, Talawanda walked Patron Saint at a casual pace as I sat on the saddle in front of Talawanda. I was still burning with questions, so I asked him about his kingdom. Talawanda, yes, my love. Your castle and grounds are exquisite, but what do you call this your universe? It's no different from the physical universe. Objects are still solid here, gravity still holds me to the floor. You and your staff eat food, so why did you call it your universe? Without turning around, I could hear him laughing quietly. My darling, you seem to think that there is something wrong with your wristwatch. There isn't it. You will notice that it has merely slowed way down. This entire day may take only 15 minutes of physical universe time. Or it could take 15,000 years. It doesn't matter, except that you will lose your job if you were gone 15,000 years without calling in sick. We both laughed, and then Talawanda continued. When I told you that this is another universe, I did not lie. This may resemble the physical world you are so familiar with, but that is precisely the point. Things look familiar. The water, the air, the smells, the colors seem real in every detail. Do you agree? Oh yes. Things are very real, there is no doubt about that, I reply. Talawanda continued. You feel at home, and that is why I created all this, so that you will have some things you could relate to. That is why I maintain this body, so that we can touch and share love. If I placed you suddenly in a world where gravity did not exist and objects were no more solid than a beam of light, and I didn't communicate to you through a body, well, I'm afraid we won't have much in common. The best guarantee for love and good communication is to share things in common. Things we can both relate to and agree on. I realize that you will probably like to walk through walls together. Well, that's fine. But let's get to that level, gradually. To do otherwise will shock you and things will seem unreal. You can accomplish or learn anything if you approach it one step at a time. Whoa, whoa, boy. The horse came to halt halfway back to the stable. We climbed down and Talawanda strapped the empty picnic basket onto the saddle. Talawanda patted Patron's head and said, "Well, take it from here. You go on home and play." Immediately the horse broke into a sprint, leaving nothing in sight but a trail of dust. Talawanda took my hand and escorted me off to the side of the trail. He had led me to a field of soft grass. We sat there in silence, searching into each other's eyes. The more I looked at him, the more alive I felt. My vision became sharp and clear. The sounds of birds and a distant stream seemed remarkably close. Colors appeared brighter, and suddenly I felt like I was floating 5 feet in back of my body. It was the strangest, most tranquil feeling I could ever remember. I felt distance between myself and my body. It was a very peaceful sensation, like the feeling I get from a little too much wine. But it was different, much better. Everything was clear, my thinking was sharp, and my perceptions were better than ever. I really felt big. I could almost feel what was on his mind. It felt like he really cared about me. But I could see that he was in a different league. I got the feeling he was 10 miles tall, looking at me through the eyes of that body. Then he broke the silence, saying, "I guess it's time you should know how I feel about you, and explain why I would do anything for you." I had been deeply relaxed, but when he said that, my heart began to pound. I wanted to say something, but even I could have thought of words to say that would have stuck in my throat. Then he softly said, "The best way that I can explain is to ask you to close your eyes and turn back to those forgotten chapters in history." Long, long ago, before you were chained down by human restrictions, you were free. You had always known the taste of freedom. You were eternally happy. There was a companion in your life, someone to admire your illusions, a friend who thought as you thought, a playmate you could chase throughout the heavens or dance with inside a burning sun. You knew of love and undying friendship. You had a companion who was loyal and worthy of trust, a companion whose love and integrity could not be eroded by the passage of time. You had a companion who solemnly pledged not to interfere as you explored the games offered in the physical universe. A companion who knew better than to enter such games, but promised to wait for you until you return. You have a companion who will always be loyal, but he misses you, and he is lonely, and he is still waiting. I opened my eyes and discovered that the beautiful sadness had brought tears to both of us. Not a word was spoken, the mystery was exposed. My thirst for answers had been quenched. Talawanda took my hands in his and stood there with seriousness of purpose I had not seen in him before. He paused for a long time as the surrounding environment became strangely quiet. He looked at me with a sad but hopeful expression and said, "My darling, the time has come. You must return to the physical universe now. Eons ago I gave you my pledge that I will not disturb you in your activities in the physical universe. I'm honorable, but please forgive me for this one violation of my promise. I should not disturb you again. If I had touched your heart with enough love and inspiration, you should be able to find your way back to me. You will have to do it on your own. That is the only way we should reunite for eternity. There are those on earth who speak as I speak. If you seek them out, they can help you restore enough of your powers that you can find your way back. No matter what happens, I shall always love you, and I should wait for you forever. As he finished his message, I could see his eyes filled with tears. Suddenly his body and surrounding scenery began to fade out until it was completely gone. Talawanda, Talawanda, I cried out, horrified by the sudden loss. In the distance and darkness, I could hear bells. They became louder and louder until suddenly I woke up, dazed and amazed. The bells were my alarm clock. I looked around in shock only to find myself in the bedroom. My bedroom in my apartment in Hollywood, California, USA, Earth, physical universe. This could be happening. I look over at the calendar on my nightstand and I read Saturday, July 22nd, 1978. That's the morning after I first saw Talawanda's performance at the Magic Castle. I felt tears coming on as I frantically grabbed the telephone to call the operator and confirm the date. Operator, what's today's date? I asked in panic. Saturday, July 22nd, the operator replied. My eyes were a pool of tears as I hung up the telephone. All a dream, I said to myself, all just a dream. Real, the romance, the sights, the sounds, all the glorious adventures, all the miracles, just a dream that never occurred, just an illusion that doesn't exist. I headed to the bathroom, to get a Kleenex to wipe the tears from my face. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. I threw on the robe and house slippers and ran to the living room. Without opening the front door, I asked, "Who is it?" "Delivery for Alana Taylor," a young man replied. "Delivery, I wonder." I opened the door just wide enough to receive the package so that the delivery man won't see the mascara smear around my eyes. It was a box of long stem red roses. I closed the door, then tore open the attached envelope and read the message. My dear Alana, if it can be experienced, it exists. You cannot experience something which doesn't exist. If you absorb half of what I told you, then a miracle has indeed occurred. Forever, Talawanda. Epilogue. Far too often has Talawanda been disappointed in his desire to better the conditions of the world. There will be no more crusades, no more flashy campaigns. He owes his time to no one. Talawanda's teachings will not penetrate every heart. If this book has not inspired you, just disregard it. On the other hand, the only road to freedom is through wisdom and study. If you find his teachings have enriched your life and you would like the lessons to continue, then express your interest by getting this book into the hands of just two other people. With this, we conclude the book. It was a wonderful read, and thank you for accompanying me through the sections. I shall begin another book in another time. I don't know when, but it will be as wondrous as this one. I think you will enjoy it. Well, my dear observers and listeners, good night and goodbye for now.